What do you want? Justice.
All right, give it to me.
The following contains offensive language and spoilers. Listener discretion is advised. Dun 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 dun.
Is that Highlander?
That's that Dropkick Murphys jam. I'm a sailor's peg and I lost my leg. No, it's been on a bunch of movies. Oh, okay. Oh well.
Okay. Welcome back to Comic Book Blues Nerds. You believe me, host Leroy, aka the Man Without Fear, with my co-host.
Yeah, this is Eli, aka the Putin Master.
There you go, Putin, the deadliest of all styles. And we're back with another episode, and also want to give a shout out to our third co-host, Boom, the AI.
All hail the Doombot.
All hail the Doombot. The little Doombot is here in the building. Yes, we're back with the episode. And like I said, this week we're pretty much, you saw the thumbnail, so we're going to be mostly focused on that. But before we get into it, Eli, we do have to do our due diligence. Okay. So we, like I said, some passing this week. We're just going to hit it real quick. We're not going to dig too deep into it, but do want to say rest in peace to Roy Ayers. Let me see if I can grab a picture. I'm completely discombobulated. Boom. Roy Ayers. So I know you don't know who he is.
Oh.
He is what do they call him? A vibrationalist? It's I think it's a xylophone. Okay. Song, My Life in the Sunshine.
The sunshine. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. Rest in peace.
Yeah, he sang that? Okay.
Yeah. Or his band sang it. One or the other.
Okay.
All right. Rest in peace him. Also,
yeah, good job.
you don't know who the vibrationalist was. Are you familiar with Tony?
I am, yes.
Okay, so rest in peace to one of the Tonys.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that. No.
Dwayne Hit Wiggins. Yeah, he died this weekend. I don't know if he's the first Tony, second Tony, third Tony, but rest in peace to him. Made some great classic songs in the 90s. It's funny that we were dancing to those songs in the 90s, having fun with those songs in the 90s. Now they're wedding songs. That's the craziest thing to me. So yeah, so he gave us some great music, and yeah, just wanted to say that. So rest in peace to one of the Tonys.
Good journey to him.
Yeah. All right. So now can we get into the podcast? Can we jump into
the shit?
Knee deep into the shit.
The doo-doo.
The doo-doo. All right. So, like I said, a lot of you are here because you saw that we have in the thumbnail. You want to hear what we got to say about Daredevil, or hear anybody what they want to hear about Daredevil. Now, we're going to do a little bit different about what everybody else would do with Daredevil, because we are a comic book podcast. So we're not going to just talk about Daredevil, Netflix show, the Disney Plus show, and that's it. No, we're going to dig into the lore of Daredevil. Now,
dive into Daredevil, into DD.
Dive into it,
DD into DD.
Now that's sexual. Okay. And like I said, Eli, and I know everybody, I heard a whole bunch of people that, I gotta binge watch the Netflix show before I start watching the show. And that's cool. You can do that. However, Eli did give everybody did you give a top 5, Eli?
I gave 5 comic books, yeah.
5 comic book, that you can just dig into, because keep in mind that everything you're seeing on the Netflix show and the Disney Plus show, all this stuff is inspired from the comics. It's not just making this shit out the blue. No, a lot of stuff, especially this we're talking about. So,
they are borrowing heavily from several different comic runs.
YouTube guidelines. That's the weirdest. Anyway,
Black Kiss, is that what it said?
No, I didn't. Yeah,
I couldn't read it.
Yeah, that's why I just clicked off over as quick as possible. Let's see who else we got. Would you rather be half your height or twice your age? That's a deep pun. They coming in. Gabe, give us a regular question, man. Stupid notification.
Is it animal with vegetable or mineral?
Right. Motivation. I'm in without overthinking. Motivation. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's that time of night. It's Bullets at the Dark. I forgot. Okay. Anyway, let's see what we're going to talk about. Okay, so we're talking about Daredevil. We're going to jump into it. Eli, this is going to be one of those weird shows, so just be prepared. Okay. The thing about Daredevil is, like, Daredevil isn't like every other superhero growing up. Like I said, this before Netflix, before Disney Plus, comic book fans gotten like, okay, we all, when people say they love comic books, they normally go like, oh, I love Batman, I love Spider-Man, I love Superman, you know, it's like the usual crowd you say. But when you were
Mhm.
like when we were growing up and you say, oh, my favorite comic book character is Daredevil, oh, you were on a different level then.
Yeah.
Daredevil back then was like the underground rapper that only certain people knew about. That you knew you was a real fan if you knew such, or to relate to everybody else, that underground band that you didn't know about, you know.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, yeah, everybody knows Superman, Batman, so like that. But if you know Daredevil, oh, you know your shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, let's wrap it up.
Or they were a little bit pretentious.
No,
And
I don't
then
think
I was like,
so.
oh
I don't
yeah,
think
your
so.
favorite comic book character is Daredevil? Well, mine's the Punisher.
No, you were pretentious if your favorite comic was Watchmen.
Oh yeah, that too.
That was pretentious. Yes. Daredevil you can skate by because every now and then, yeah, he's into crime, shit like that, but he will fight the Hulk every now and then, you know. So it's not too far against the realm, but yeah, Daredevil can be a little bit there. So, but nah, best name. So if you found somebody that, I mean, saying Daredevil was one of your favorite, or you kept up with Daredevil,
They were a comic fan. They were like
a
they were
secret
real.
handshake. It was
They
a
were
secret
real.
handshake.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Superman and Batman, Spider-Man. That's cool. Daredevil was just shake your hands right there. It's like, okay, no, you a real comic head if you know that shit. Now, the thing about it, what I do like about this show, and we're going to talk about the show all of a second, that I like it that they're doing something else other than Frank Miller's run.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, Hollywood acts like Frank Miller is the only Daredevil writer that has ever existed. Like they just and his run was great. Don't get me wrong, his run was classic.
He's defined the character pretty much. The definitive version of Daredevil has been Frank Miller. Yes,
there have been other great runs other than Frank Miller. You got to get out of Frank Miller's shadow. Yes, he set the tone because Daredevil was just a goofy, whack ass Spider-Man ripoff before he got his hands on him. And then when he got his hands on, all of a sudden his crime, noir, ninjas, all this shit running around like that. And then you know, other writers built on that and took the character to the next level. So that's when Daredevil like really became Daredevil. So that's when you're like, okay, yeah. And then the funny thing about it, the reason it did that because Marvel editorial didn't care what Frank Miller did with Daredevil. Because they were going to about to cancel the book and we're like, I don't care, do what you want. So when they like, oh, I can do anything, the book, anything, okay. And that's the worst thing you can tell Frank Miller to do because he will do anything. So yeah, and that's why the crazy stuff goes right there. That's just why people like, why is it so different from every other superhero comic, or a TV show, anything like that? That's why.
Because Frank Miller when Frank Miller is a New Yorker,
right?
So he was growing up in the New York 70s, 80s when New York was really, really crime ridden and just those dark times.
Right. And that's the time he was writing in.
Yeah, and he was pulling from that time. That was the precursor to Dark Knight Returns. That was the precursor to Sin City. You know, reading Daredevil Frank Miller's Daredevil run, you can see the influence to Dark Knight Returns, to Sin City, and those similarities. And his artwork, because he was drawing it too.
Right. So it had that gritty feel to it. Not in like no other comic book that was out at the time.
Yeah.
You know, so it made you feel not only that there was writing that crime noir style, the drawing and the art was crime noir style.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't even feel like it was a superhero comic. It felt like a crime comic just with a superhero in it. So it was like it had a completely different feel to it, you know.
It was hard-boiled detective stories.
Right.
You know,
so it was different. In Marvel, like we've seen that before, but in Marvel, that was different. Like we've never seen that in Marvel before, you know. So yeah, that's the thing about that. We just want to talk about that. I guess we can talk about it. And now before we actually, that's the comic. Then we talk about the Netflix show. Now we talk about the Netflix show, Eli, but I don't think we big up and praise that Netflix show as much as we should.
Yeah,
I'm thinking. I'm saying as important as it was because honestly, I think, and I'm gonna say, and I don't know if anybody else said this before. I think Daredevil saved Netflix. That's a weird ass statement to make.
Yeah, because it came out before Stranger Things.
It came out before Stranger Things. It was like the first big streaming thing they had.
Yeah.
Because back then, what was it, 2013? Some shit like that. Like this is a long
2013, 2014, yeah.
Something like that. So it was like Netflix started a streaming thing and nobody cared about their streaming platform. We were still buying DVDs from Netflix back then in 2013, and streaming thing was just an extra thing. They used to give away the streaming service with the DVD service because that's how much little they thought about it. But then when Daredevil hit, and everybody's like, whoa, what is that? You know, and they were like, oh, that's a Marvel superhero. Well, like it hit like Blade hit. Like when Blade hit, like people were like, is that a Marvel superhero? Like, really? Like, so that's how Daredevil hit. Because the thing, it was gritty, raw. You know, it was like nothing we seen before, but it was like for the TV. But so it wasn't like the Avengers and shit like that. No, this is ground level, street level shit we got going on right here. And then, of course, as violent as it was, and the topics they were dealing with, stuff like that, the acting, it was it hit. You was like, whoa, okay, we never seen anything like that. And then it spawned these other TV shows like Daredevil for the Marvel TV did what Iron Man did for the movies.
Yeah.
So then it just took off from there. So, and like I said, when Daredevil hit, then like I said, Stranger Things hit. I'm pretty sure some of us hit, but that was like that to me, that was the first big one that took off. You know.
Yeah.
So, and then, like I said, they did their thing, and we're not going to get into all the legal reasons why I went away from Netflix, but there's a whole big thing about that. That's not what we're here. We're here to talk about the Disney Plus show. Now we talk about the Disney Plus show. Eli, I'm gonna let you start off and just give what you think about.
Oh, okay. These first 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. I'm a little bit on the fence. I'm glad to see it back. Mm-hmm. I'm glad to see the Daredevil show's back. I'm glad to see the same characters are back. We still got the same actors, pretty much the same cast. Vincent D'Onofrio, it's Wilson Fisk. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm glad that world is back. Mm-hmm. You know, and they're still sticking with the brutal violence. You know, the action scenes are really cool.
Disney came with it, so yeah.
Yeah, that opening fight scene with fucking Bullseye and going up the stairway, and you can see the Disney's dumping money into this.
Yes, and that's honestly, that's a bit the shocking thing to me right there, because like I said, that one of the charms of the Netflix show was that it was low budget, gritty, didn't have a whole lot of money behind it, but there was a charm of it. Now you got this Disney money, sprawling stuff right there. Yeah, it here's the thing. If it almost reminds me of X-Men 97, where you can tell they're mimicking the style, mm-hmm. but something is different. Like know something different, but you can't put your finger on like something is different from what they're doing.
Yeah. And it's definitely got its moments. There's some cool scenes in there. My only concern is it did have some lulls, and that reminded me of the Netflix show. All those Netflix Marvel shows, they were slow burns.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody admitted that. Okay.
Because they were low budget. Yes, Daredevil had some cool action scenes throughout those seasons, but they were few and far between. Mm-hmm. They were slow burns, and I'm like, oh shit, is this what we're doing again? I was expecting, hey, it's Disney, it's going to be all, we got the Disney budget, it's going to be all bombastic, and then when we settle into, it's a year later, and he's not Daredevil, and who knows when he's going to be Daredevil again, and mm-hmm. they're drawing out this case, and and we're focusing on the relationship with this new chick, this therapist, and mm-hmm. she's Wilson Fisk's therapist now, so there's going to be some drama there. We are settling into a soap opera.
Yeah. Before we go there, Heather Glenn was his girlfriend from the Frank Miller run.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my main thing. Are we like, when is Daredevil going to put the suit back on? Like, how many episodes are going to go by? Because I remember, because he didn't put that. If I recall, he didn't put the red suit on till the very end of the first season.
Yeah, but even then, he had the boxing whatever ninja suit he had on.
Yeah,
but he didn't even do it in this. Like, he didn't even do it here in this.
Yeah, and as I recall, I always felt all those Netflix shows were like maybe 1 or 2 episodes too long. Like there was a lot. There was a few.
But here's another thing that I threw it off. Not only, first off, the Netflix pacing episodes. To me, the pacing were off on all of those shows. I know people try to act like Daredevil on Netflix was this perfect show. Came from the guy. It wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it should have been 10 instead of 13.
Right. It dragged out. And then on top of that, because the Netflix model back in 2013, because they didn't really know how the streaming stuff worked, they dumped every episode on Friday.
Yeah.
So you had to watch the whole thing, otherwise have it spoiled for you.
Yeah, and that got exhausting.
We had to review it in 2 days.
Yeah.
So so we couldn't even really sit down and digest it and think like that, like we should have, because we had to fly through those episodes so fast. Because otherwise, you're gonna have some guy on the internet saying, "Oh, such and such got killed in episode 9." Like we on episode 4. You know?
Yeah, I remember being like, was it season 2? Not even finished. I didn't even watch all the episodes left yet.
Right.
And somebody Saturday, oh, Elektra, blah, blah. Like what? Elektra showed up? Like what the?
Right. and you know what really happened? What really messes us up, because when it boils down to it, the only thing that really gets discussed in those shows is the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
So all the other stuff in between, and people just went past you. You didn't pay attention to it because we only focused on the last thing we saw. Now, because of this Disney model we have right here, we're sitting here talking about these 2 episodes instead of just talking about however many episodes. We don't know how many episodes it is.
Yeah.
So we can actually sit there and just talk about it and dissect it and see what's going on. And then next week we'll get deep into the story from there. So just have it just boom, here you go. You know.
Yeah.
So that's
so yeah. So like I said, like that's my concern. Is this gonna like get drawn out? I hope it doesn't get drawn out. You know, because it did get a little slow, you know, by episode 2. You know, I was like, okay, this is slow burn here. But I did enjoy. There's a lot to like here. You know, like I said, I like the world. I like the gritty noir, you know, crime noir, hard-boiled detective feel. I like that they're pulling from several different plot lines from comics. The White Tiger trial, that's right out of Bendis's run. You know, and then Mayor Fisk. That's
we reviewed that comic on this podcast. That's how
back in the day.
So that's the Devil's Reign comic when Fisk became the mayor.
Yeah, Charles Soule. Yeah, that was
It was Zdarsky?
It started with Charles Soule, but he was mayor for a while.
Okay.
Like Charles Soule made him mayor, and then he went into the Zdarsky run. Like Zdarsky picked up, he was still mayor. So Kingpin was mayor for a while.
Okay, so I thought it started with Zdarsky. So it started with Soul, and then Zdarsky went into it. I got my brother to be in preparation for Born Again. He's been calling me each episode saying stuff like, "Why didn't this show win awards or something?" Why didn't it win awards? Because it's Netflix. Honestly, because back then when it came out, Netflix was so new, they didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, and that was like the heyday of the MCU. We loved everything that Marvel was doing, and you know, it was, this is super cool. And Daredevil felt different. It wasn't as lighthearted as the movies were. It was like kind of brutal and dark and gritty and shit. You know, so that's why we're like, oh my god, this is awesome. You know,
but that's all because now if it came out now and maybe the new show will win something like that. But back then they didn't really consider streaming shows like TV. They just thought it was like some kind of almost like a web series or something like that. People don't even know what those things are anymore. But so even HBO had a deal on it, but like Netflix, it was so new that like we don't know what to do with you. So even though you guys,
it wasn't until like I think Stranger Things where it started getting nominated for Emmys and shit. You know? Right?
Because they're like, okay, we need to start including, and then you got the other one popping up. So now you can do that, but back then they didn't know what to do with it. So that's why they get nominated. But no, it was a great show. So
I mean they were cool. You know. So like I said, I mean, go ahead.
I'm stepping over your toes, but another thing about it. Sorry, but I just had to add this into that. Like I said, we did talk about like one great thing we did talk about. You know, the original Netflix show is the great stunt work on there because, like I said, it was low budget. They didn't have the MCU budget. You couldn't have CGI rubber dudes flying all over the place and shit like that. It had when you saw a dude doing flips like that, it was a real dude.
Yeah, they had to focus on straight up fight choreography.
Right.
Like no holds barred, old school choreography.
Right. But in this, you can see the CGI.
Oh yeah, the smoke, some of that digital smoke in the bar when they were fighting. I know it's a style, an artistic choice.
Right.
But like it took me out of it a little bit, but still, you know.
I mean,
they had to cover up they had to cover up Bullseye's ricochets, you know.
Right. But even like Daredevil swinging and stuff and dropping stuff like that, it took me out of the show for a second because I remember the Netflix show. I'm like, wait, he didn't do any Spider-Man shit in that show. You know? There was
very like Jessica Jones. You never saw Jessica Jones fly,
right? Because they didn't have the budget for that. Right.
Yeah, you just see her like come through a window.
Right. And she just there. She just laying like I'm here.
Yeah, she's like on a roof in one shot, and then next thing you know, she's like coming through a window in the next shot.
Right. So it throws you off. And we should have been prepared for that. 'Cause like I said, when we talk about She-Hulk, Daredevil was doing all this Spider-Man shit in that show. And we read Daredevil comics all the time. In the Daredevil comics, he does that Spider-Man shit all the time.
He swings and
he swings and all that. He does that shit. Swing around, flag.
He's got his super hearing is basically a spider sense.
Yeah, spider sense. So in the Netflix, they didn't have the budget to do that stuff. Disney has the money to do that stuff. So when you see him Spider-Man swinging, you're like, what the fuck? Is Spider-Man here? No, it's Daredevil. So so it kind of threw me, and it's obvious CGI because you can't get a real person to do stuff like that. So it kind of threw me out a little bit, but I went with that, like, okay, Disney is throwing money at this show,
Yeah.
Let's think about this. Think about this for a second, Eli. How many Disney projects or Marvel projects do you think came after Endgame?
How many? Well, we can count them. There's several.
That's a loaded question. I know it's a loaded question, but I'm making a point. A lot, a shitload.
Yeah.
I get that. But how many are universally liked? Not even loved. Liked. I'm gonna name them. Okay, Spider-Man: Far From Home. Generally, everybody likes.
Oh, you're talking about like movies. Oh, I thought, yeah, I guess everything. Yeah. I thought we were just talking about shows. I'm like, okay, which shows
they've done?
Yeah, I think like what? Maybe, Far From Home, maybe Deadpool. I liked Shang-Chi, but that's just me. I don't know how.
But right. I like it, but it's not universally liked.
I don't think people even remember it. People
didn't remember the movie, so we can't say that. So it's been, out of all the projects Marvel has put out since Endgame, there's been 3 projects that people generally
care about. Yeah.
Care about, not love, not what crazy, light,
Yeah.
So that's why they're putting all this money in Daredevil, because they're trying to make it number 4. They're trying to, Daredevil. And honestly, from what I'm seeing on social media, Eli, Daredevil, this new season episode is for the most part liked. You know, of course you got some haters. That's in everything. You're gonna have some haters, but for the most part, I'm not getting that vitriol like you did with Hawkeye. Some people like it,
or the Spider-Man show,
That's me. That was all.
It wasn't just you though.
Okay, I'm just want to make sure I wouldn't own social media with that. I just I'm fucking sick of this shit. Let me just go. So for the most part, out of all,
She-Hulk was everybody hated She-Hulk.
Everybody hated She-Hulk, right?
Everybody hated Ms. Marvel was.
Everybody hated Ms. Marvel. The people who saw it,
I mean,
And the movies too. Thor: Love and Thunder. We can go down the road. We can go down the road. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there's 3 projects that people generally like. So that's the kind of boat that Marvel put themselves in right now. Dude looks like Beetlejuice. Cool. Thanks.
Cool. You look like a booger. Or is that just a green spot?
We do the stream, bro. Let me see what we got. And
what is this? I can't even fucking read this shit. I gotta get my
glasses.
Had
to blow it up and see. Every time I hear praise, I've been so that's thing going on right now. But like I said, we can talk about some other things also. Eli, what I'm loving about the show, even though this show is a slow burn, and I think that's going to turn people off, because I do think, even though I said how important Daredevil is for the Netflix show, I do think people remember this show differently than what the show actually was.
Yeah.
I think people have seen YouTube clips, they've seen TikToks, and they think, if you just watch that, it's the greatest show of all time. If you actually sit there and watch the show, it was a slow burn also.
Yeah. Like I said, 3 episodes too long.
There was several episodes where Matt Murdock never became Daredevil.
No.
At all. So
like I said, first season he didn't put on the red suit till the end.
Right. So that
we would go a couple episodes before he would do Daredevil shit. That's how those shows were. Don't even get me started on the Punisher. Holy shit.
Another divisive show, but yeah. So that's what we got going on right now, man. So I'm just like, okay, what we got here? Okay, yeah. What else can we talk? Can we talk about Kingpin on the show? Because this show feels like a co-lead, even though Kingpin was heavily featured in the Daredevil Netflix show. This definitely feels like co-lead, / Daredevil / Kingpin.
And we've seen him since. We've seen him on Hawkeye. We've seen him on Echo. Yeah, he's been holding it down. Well, I guess Daredevil too. Daredevil was in Echo. Daredevil was in She-Hulk.
But Kingpin had a arc in Echo.
Yeah, like
Instead of
it
just
wasn't just a
showing up.
cameo.
And matter of fact, I think his part in Echo plays into this show. Like people don't realize
that's the thing. I don't think people realize how big Echo of a character Echo is.
Right.
Because that was like that launched the Marvel Knights. That was like the first. Well, Joe Quesada's first story arc. I believe Kevin Smith was writing the first. Like, I don't know, was it 8 issues of the Marvel Knights run where he's doing that demon baby and shit, you know? And then Joe Quesada took over and he did Echo. And Echo, like, that she tied into Wilson Fisk and the Hand, and she was a villain, and she eventually became Ronin. Like, people don't understand how big a character Echo is and how she relates to the Daredevil universe, you know? So yeah, like, and that first Echo story kind of set the pace for Joe Quesada's run, because he brought, because coming out of the 90s, Daredevil wasn't that cool, you know, but Joe Quesada brought Daredevil back to like the Frank Miller type of shit, like the gritty street level, you know, and then Bendis's run is what most of these shows are based on.
Right.
Yeah, but if you want to read, there's Frank Miller, and then you got to read Bendis's run.
Right.
You know, so I think Bendis's run is more closely related to this show. Like the show is more aping Bendis's more than Frank Miller. Of course, season 3 was the actual Born Again story.
Right. They called it Born Again, but yeah, season 3 was based off that. So yeah.
Yeah, the actual Born Again storyline of Matt Murdock being homeless and shit and meeting his mom, the nun, and that's actually season 3. That's Frank Miller's Born Again.
Right.
But
like I said, they're Frank Miller out. They got no more Frank Miller left to Frank Miller. So they had to go somewhere else.
They only have a slight mention about the Echo stuff. Yeah, because he got shot. He mentioned getting shot by Echo.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But in the Echo show, that was where he got changed heart, because Echo, a lot of people don't know what happened in the last episode, but basically she kind of healed him.
That's whatever her power
from his trauma.
Yeah, whatever his power is. Is that what she is? She's a healer? And she healed his trauma or some shit?
She healed him from his trauma. That's why he's not such an asshole in the show, because of Echo.
And he's trying to go legit now, but he's still got the thing. Yeah.
It was confusing. I had to watch it a few more times to see what the hell is happening, what's going on. So yeah. Actually, but he's one of my favorite Marvel characters. Spicy Tobacco, what'd he do? Long time listener. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Daredevil's great show. Like I said, if you read the comics, like I said, a lot of these Netflix shows are based off the comics. So some of the scenes and imagery comes straight from the comics.
Yeah.
That Daredevil Punisher scene in season 2.
Oh yeah, that's from Frank Miller.
That's directly from Frank Miller. Like the whole comic. Yeah.
Yeah, Frank Miller, like, he invented Elektra. He kind of took all of Spider-Man's villains and made them Daredevil's villains.
Because the basic ones that Spider-Man thought were cool, they thought Kingpin was lame. But when Frank Miller got it, like, no, Kingpin is cool as fuck.
Yeah, Kingpin and Bullseye, and he created the Hand and then Stick, and he made zombie ninjas.
How deep this goes, and we talk about this on the podcast all the time, about how deep this goes, because Frank Miller had a love for ninjas.
Yeah,
so we started throwing ninjas in Frank and Daredevil. It kind of started a ninja craze in comics.
Yeah,
which is where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came from.
Yes, Teenage Ninja Turtles are a parody of Daredevil.
When you say parody, I say love letter.
I guess, yeah, sort of. Is a tribute. Like this, supposedly the ooze that transformed the Ninja Turtles is the same ooze that got on Matt Murdock and gave him his powers.
Right.
like
Daredevil is in, like, Matt Murdock is in that comic, like the first Ninja.
Yeah, like when that truck that almost hit Matt Murdock when he was a kid, that canister fell and into the sewers, and that's what transformed the Turtles. Right. Instead of the hand, it's the foot. It's the Stick, it's Splinter. Yeah,
it's all connected. So
yeah.
So now we got to talk about Kingpin.
Yeah.
Okay, we talk about Kingpin because Kingpin has a arc in this episode, because they are very much making Kingpin Trump in this.
Oh yeah, and they did that back then.
They did it in the comic. They did it in the comic.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that Eli, I think they took it a step further. because
the timing is impeccable right now.
The timing is impeccable. In the comic, Kingpin rigged the election to become mayor.
Yeah.
But in this show, he didn't have to. Like, they were fine with electing a convicted criminal in office. They didn't. Matter of fact, that helped him get in office.
Yeah.
And even Matt Murdock got to the point Daredevil was saying, like, if they put him in office, they deserve what they get. That's the shit we've been saying.
Yeah, like the timing, the timing is perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
and because the funny thing is, like I said, okay, we just saw this for
we can't say it's a coincidence because this was a comic like 10 years ago. It's been like 10 years ago. Damn.
But dude was in office around the time too, yeah.
Yeah, and that comic was a comment on, a certain elected officials that with shady pasts.
Right. And it's even more overt now. Like, you can't get away from it. Like, okay, like Vince, like Captain America 4. I said we're gonna talk about it. Like, the president in that one. Like, a lot of people trying to say, oh, the president in that one because he's the bad guy in that movie, he's this and that and that. But I think they did enough plausible deniability that they can skate around that. Like, oh, no. He's not that. Harrison Ford isn't playing that. It's like this, it's like that. This, you can't get around it. Kingpin is definitely that.
He's outlawing superheroes. He's going to turn superheroes into criminals.
Right.
That's what happened in the comics.
So yeah.
Like
the Thunderbolts was his thing in the comics. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna
not a coincidence.
Get off of it, but yeah. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. I'm not gonna say it, but yeah.
I don't think did Hillary she never got elected.
That's true. So sorry. Wrong.
Wrong answer. Bitch about something else.
So it's just funny to me that they would, because times have changed, so they can say it like that. So Kingpin doesn't have to rig the election anymore, because if they'd have made that story 10 years ago or 15 years ago where Kingpin is a known criminal, everybody knows he's a criminal, convicted, knows his record, and he runs for office, and they vote him in anyway, knowing the shit he's done.
Yeah.
15 minutes gonna be like, that story doesn't make any sense. That's a dumbass comic story,
And we've seen it with Lex Luthor. Like, we saw it last season of Superman and Lois.
Right.
We've seen Lex Luthor be president, but the timing, like I said, what's different about this is like the timing. This is like reflecting current events,
I guess really hitting the nail on the head. So
yeah, and that's what I thought about, the last season of Superman and Lois. Like, okay, they're leaning, they're bringing, like, he was running for mayor too, wasn't he? Lex?
No.
What was he doing? What was he trying to do? Oh, he was trying to buy. Yeah. He was trying to buy Smallville. He was like buying up all the places in Smallville.
And they really didn't lean into it like they should have, but I know they had a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah, he was trying to make Smallville great again.
Right.
And he had the town divided,
Because some people wanted to sell, some people didn't want to sell because it was big business, and he's running the mom and pops out of business because they built, they're a small town,
Yeah, he was gonna like buy all this farmland and then
they don't
build who knows what,
Lexmart or whatever, like
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, that's why that again it was like it was reflecting current times. But we've seen it before. But yeah, even though this happened like 10 years ago, like it really hits hard now.
Right, like at this exact moment. There's other stuff going on because that's not the only like topical controversial thing going on right now. Also, did you see the cops with the Punisher tattoo on?
Yep. And we've seen that before.
We've seen that before also. So yeah. So you got a bunch of crooked cops out there abusing their power, and they got Punisher tattoos on them, which they're very much going to address on this. So we already know they will, because they've already confirmed that Punisher's going to show up in this season.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's not going to like that. He's not going to, because in the comics,
right?
Yeah, in the comics, Punisher does not like cops who idolize him.
Right.
He is breaking the law. Cops shouldn't break the law. Cops swore an oath to uphold the law, and the Punisher is a psychopath, and he knows it.
Right.
So cops shouldn't be like the Punisher.
Like, I'm not crazy. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Which is one of the best scenes in this that whole
That season 2 is, and that's from an old Punisher. That's from an old Daredevil comic too.
Yeah. With him mentioning, he mentioned Spider-Man in there. He did mention, but Kingpin mentioned Spider-Man in there. So
yeah.
Like, do you think let him? No, Spider-Man's not cameo in this. I don't even think they have the legal ability to put Spider-Man in here. So
yeah.
I think, and then because they didn't say Spider-Man, they just said a guy in a Spider costume, which I think is as far legal as they can go with that. Because they could do a cartoon with Spider-Man, but live action, Sony still own the rights to that.
Yeah, Sony's got it. Yeah.
Yeah, so Spider-Man can't show up in this. So like I said, we talk about Punisher. Another thing, I just love the imagery in it. Did you notice they're no longer in Hell's Kitchen?
No, not really.
they're not Hell's Kitchen. I think they mentioned something. I think they mentioned about Hell's Kitchen being gentrified.
Oh, well, I saw like that one where like everyone's celebrating in Times Square. So that's
like that. He hasn't been in, like, when they went. Okay, so I'm not gonna spoil it. Just watch the show. The point is, at the beginning of the show, before the time jump, they were in Hell's Kitchen. Even they were saying like Hell's Kitchen is a good place to live now. We can go there. There's no more crime here. We just chill, have fun. And then what happened after that time jump? He moved away from Hell's Kitchen. He didn't go back. And then everybody, anytime he tells everybody he's from Hell's Kitchen, he's like, Hell's Kitchen ain't that bad. Not anymore. Because they gentrified. Because, like I said, in real life, Hell's Kitchen isn't that, shithole like it used to be.
New York is almost unrecognizable in some places.
Right. So
it's
So I would think like, okay, so in the comics, gentrification doesn't exist, but I guess in the MCU it does. So okay. Because she was like, aren't you from Hell's Kitchen? Like, aren't you from Queens? Queens way worse than that. So
oh yeah, when he's talking to the therapist.
Yeah, therapist. Oh, and when she said she went to school at Xavier, she was not talking about the X-Men.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, she said she went to Xavier, like one of the colleges in New York.
Oh.
And people like, oh, that's an X-Men Easter egg. Like, no, it wasn't. She was just saying she went to Xavier. You fanboys exhaust me, man. Oh shit. But another thing I was talking about is like the imagery of this show, Eli. I'm loving the imagery, even though it's a slow burn. I'm loving the imagery because you got they always showing like Kingpin like in this high ivory tower because he's the king. You know?
Looking down on everybody. He's literally looking down on the peasants.
He's looking down at everybody. Meanwhile, you see Matt Murdock down at the bottom looking at him, and notice there's always like smoke and like haze, like hues of red behind him, because they want you to show him that even though he's no longer in Hell's Kitchen, he's still in hell.
He's burning with rage.
Seeing
red.
Like the fact that smoke is always around him at all times. That's called a motif.
Yeah.
A reoccurring theme that shows up. You're gonna see that a lot because they want
real cinema.
Yeah. So that's another thing that Daredevil comics do. Now I don't know if Frank Miller really touched it, but other writers have done that before. It ain't just crime noir. There's a lot of Christian.
He's Catholic.
A lot of imagery, a lot of metaphors in that because he was in Hell's Kitchen and because he calls himself Daredevil, the devil is an angel.
A fallen angel.
He was put there to protect hell. So it's all there. You got to, and the show is not beating you over the head with it, but it's there. That's why his mom is a nun and his dad was a fighter. It's that dichotomy. That's the whole thing about Matt Murdock. So
well, like that scene in the diner when they have their heat moment. That scene where it's like
heat, where
it's right out of Heat, and you can tell like both their faces were black.
Right.
They're both like you say, "Hey, I'm no longer Daredevil," and Wilson's like, I'm no longer the Kingpin."
What was Kingpin wear? Like, what color was his suit?
I don't remember. I'm not sure. Was it gray? Because it's either white, right? Was it gray?
I think it was gray.
Yeah, because I remember.
But there's a reason it's gray.
Yeah, because he's trying to go legit. He's trying not to be given to the darkness, and that was the cool thing about that scene is both their faces in that diner scene. Half of their faces were in shadow. Which is again a thing that Frank Miller did with his art, or you see it in Sin City. He really ran with it. But those really dark, contrasting shadows of the dark, they both have dark halves. They both have dark sides.
You know what I love about having a podcast?
Yeah,
we're having this deep discussion about themes and metaphors, And all people want to talk about is what would you do with Wolverine's lightsabers?
Hey, Frank Miller wrote Wolverine, one of the best.
And
used to draw Wolverine.
That's what made Wolverine take off.
Yeah, Frank Miller's version of Wolverine. He put Wolverine in shadows.
Right. All right, we got to talk about that. Frankie's here. I'm going to post it. Yes, rest in peace, Foggy.
Yeah, or is he? Spoil. Did I give away a spoiler? Sorry.
I don't care if he's dead. If he comes back, if the winner.
Well,
Foggy,
we saw. Yeah. That's the thing. Is now okay. White Tiger. They are referencing the amulet.
Mm-hmm.
Bullseye obviously got back to life, so he's probably got some hand magic now. Mm-hmm. And Foggy did. I mean, in that one in Ben, no, not Ben. It was Brubaker, where they thought Foggy was dead and he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah. So, he may or may not be dead. So.
Maybe, I don't know.
But yeah,
but it was a shocking thing when
it was a shocking moment, though. I was like, "Oh shit, yeah!"
And plus, it took Daredevil over the edge because Daredevil tried to kill Bullseye.
Yeah,
that's when we realized I can't be Daredevil anymore because I crossed the line.
Yeah, I crossed the line. I killed. That's when he throws off the mask, breaks the horn off.
Right.
You know,
he didn't kill him, but he tried to. Not with like a trying, but yeah.
Yeah. And then in the last episode or the episode 2, when he fights those cops, he crosses it again. He's like, "Oh shit!" I
do like it when he said, "You don't want to do this." Was he talking to the cops? Was he talking to himself?
Talking to himself. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yes. And then didn't his blood drip there? So I think that's where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
So his blood, because it showed his blood dripping on the floor. So his DNA is now at the crime scene. Because again, if we're going to Bendis's run, which they keep referencing on these shows, mm-hmm. Daredevil ends up having to defend himself. Daredevil goes to prison for being a vigilante.
But he stays in Daredevil costume, so yeah. We think it because of the skeleton, but honestly, Frankie, we don't know. He comics, yeah.
But yeah, and that's when Ed Brubaker took over, and he had Punisher in prison for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or not Punisher, Daredevil in prison, and then he teams up with the Punisher to break out.
Right. So, like I said, there's a lot of Daredevil story they can still tell that they hadn't even scratched the surface on yet. So,
but I think that's where we're going. I think Wilson Fisk, he's mayor now. He's going to outlaw superheroes. Mm-hmm. So, you know, any vigilantes are going to go to jail. Now and they reference, you know, White Tiger's on trial, which is another part. That is another Bendis story arc. You know. So I think, and now with Daredevil fucking up these cops, now his blood's at the crime scene. So he's probably going to get busted at some point. And I think that's where the season is heading. That's what I think, you know.
And so do you think like everybody's going to find out he's Daredevil?
Well, yeah, because that's what happened in Bendis's run. They found out who he was, you know.
But then he did some Purple Man bullshit, made everybody forget.
So. Yeah, Purple Man made everybody forget. Yeah.
Okay, we going too deep.
We're going. Hey, we could do this all day.
Right. Oh yeah. But overall, the thing is, like I said, is a slumber. I don't think everybody is going to say this is what they were expecting, because I think what they were expecting is something that never existed to begin with. They just have in their head what they think they're supposed to expect. And I think that anybody disappointed, that's why you're disappointed.
Yeah, that hallway fight scene that everyone talks about, that wasn't until like episode 2 or 3. And the first
and like the end of it, right?
And the end of it.
Right.
So, yeah. And then nothing happened again until like the very end.
Right.
You know.
So it wasn't like action. It wasn't like, you know, I hate to compare it to CW Arrow. But they came out around the same time, Eli.
They were around at the same time.
They came around the same time. And you cannot tell me that Arrow to have some badass actually in season 1.
Arrow went hard. No,
Eli is agreeing with me on this, so that should tell y'all something.
I watched Arrow for like 4 or 5 seasons. I didn't stick it all the way through like you did, but I was riding Arrows for a while.
Okay, so you jumped off when they started time travel, go to the multiverse and stuff.
Yeah, the Crisis thing. I was around the Crisis, crossover event.
He became the Spectre. It became a god. Everybody made the universe.
Yeah,
you jumped off by then. Okay,
but no, Arrow went to get Ra's al Ghul. Remember, he got with League of Assassins and shit. That was dope.
He did.
It was basically Batman.
I'm not comparing Arrow to Daredevil. I'm not doing that. But I'm just saying that Arrow at least was Arrow in every episode.
Yeah.
You got Arrow 2 or 3 times in every episode. Daredevil would just disappear, and it'd just be the Matt Murdock show. And they talking about, and Foggy would have a storyline or some shit. Or Karen Page have a bullshit storyline. And
there was that one FBI agent story arc. They all that's what I'm saying. All those Netflix shows had a throwaway character that we had to follow for no fucking reason.
Like why are we following them? I don't care.
Yeah, like Agent Hot Chick from Punisher.
Oh, and Microchip. Even though I like Microchip,
yeah.
Why are we following him? And was Punisher banging his wife in that show? Or
I don't know. Yeah. Like
I don't know. Like, why is this a storyline?
And then what's her face? Hellcat. What's her name? In Jessica Jones. Like,
why was Hellcat in that show?
She was like a TV star, and we're watching her. She was an act like there was all this bullshit going on, and like I said, those Netflix shows dragged this shit out longer than it should.
I love the show, but they are not what y'all think they were. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And that's what I'm wondering. I think they're gonna. I'm hoping they're not gonna drag it out like they did with Netflix because they actually have a budget.
Yeah,
now, but
now if you just clip some TikToks and some YouTube and screenshots, it's the greatest thing ever. So you sit down and watch it like we did before TikTok. Yeah, it was. You had to sit through some shit. So yeah. Let's see what Gabe got.
Bullseye versus Death First Encounter was epic.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. They hooked us. And then nothing happened for the rest of the episode. They are teasing Muse.
Oh, yeah, he was teasing the trailer. So yeah. Even in this, they were teasing.
He was painting the mural. He was painting the Wilson Fisk, the two-faced Wilson Fisk mural.
Yeah.
So that's out of Charles Soule's run, the serial killer. He's like a super powered serial killer.
Okay. So we're gonna see what Muse does. I'm trying to think what's gonna happen. Another scene that I really liked was when Wilson Fisk was bribing or like blackmailing that police chief. Man, I love that scene because here's the thing, because we didn't know where he was going with it.
Yeah.
Is he turning back into the old Kingpin, or is he he's
just being a politician?
He's trying to be a politician because we know what he would have done in season 1.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah. You want to quit? Okay, well there you go, and you're gonna go right into the river. Bye.
But here's
your severance pay, motherfucker.
But in this way, he's trying to play by the rules, but you can still see some Kingpin coming out of it.
But But you know what that reminded me of?
What's that?
Of Godfather 2, the scene where that senator was trying to strong arm Michael about paying the casino fee or whatever when he would go to Vegas. And here's my offer, Senator. Nothing.
And then what he say? Your cops get nothing. Your pay raise, get nothing.
Nothing. And I would appreciate if you paid the fee for me.
Now, at first, how I thought the scene was going to go, I thought he was trying to threaten that family. He wasn't doing that.
No, that was was that his mistress or something?
It's like a secret family, some shit he's trying to keep hitting, which is some politician shit.
Yeah.
So it's not illegal, technically. What he's doing.
just that, but that's politics, man.
Yeah.
Shady
so
shit.
He's learning how to play the game. That's all. So
yeah. Wait, you mean I don't have to kill this guy?
Right. He's learning. Oh, and
he still had blood on his knuckles. Like he was.
Yeah. Well, he might have found Adam.
Oh, that's right. Vanessa's
Vanessa's
something.
Yeah, he was like, I know about Adam, Vanessa, and we know what would happen to Adam in season 1.
Yeah.
But he's trying to change. So yeah.
He's in therapy, yeah.
He's in Kingpin's in therapy, man.
He's in therapy, marriage therapy, yeah. With
therapy at that. He's going with Vanessa.
With Matt, and his therapist is Matt Murdock's girlfriend. So yeah, this is a big soap opera, like the Netflix show was.
Right.
This is a lot of drama, crime drama. It gets dark, and occasionally we're gonna have some cool action scenes. That's what the thing. The Netflix, every season there was a standout action scene. Mm-hmm. Like we had the hallway scene in season 1. We had the prison fight in season 2 or 3. Season 2. Yeah. And then season 3 was. I don't know. I don't remember season 3. I'm getting season 3 and the Defenders mixed up.
Okay, and then the Defenders had the Defenders was fun. I
Yeah.
thought it was fun. So yeah.
Because I think that was only 8 episodes, right?
No,
Wasn't that shorter?
No, it was like 6.
Yeah, I remember it was shorter. So it was like
short,
all
yeah.
killer, no filler.
Right.
Which is what
just ninjas running around and shit. That's all it was. So here.
Yeah.
So
like I said, I'm glad it's back. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. But yeah, I had to remember, oh yes, these shows take their time. Daredevil takes its time. The show takes its time.
Right. So hopefully everybody that watched this show, and we've been hyping this show up to high heaven, you understand it when you're going in. Don't expect action, because the shows were never that.
But when the action happens, it hits.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
And even then, when the action hits in these episodes, even though it was few and far between, it hit when it showed up. So
it's the payoff. It's worth the payoff. You might have to wait, and it gets really dramatic and soap opera-y, but the when the action hits, it hits pretty hard. So that's it.
Okay, so I think we said enough about Daredevil. We've gone a long time on Daredevil.
Yeah, well, it's Daredevil, man.
It's Daredevil. But we don't get a chance. We ain't got a chance to talk about Daredevil in what, 5 years?
Yeah.
Pandemic. So
yeah, we've been talking about fucking Ms. Marvel,
right? Shang-Chi and Eternal
shit we don't care about.
Right. Love and Thunder.
Let's take a deep dive into Blue Beetle.
Right. Hey, that's one of my favorite episodes, man. All right. That being said, I got another show I want to talk about, because another show I saw this week too.
All right.
A show that I've been waiting to talk about all year. Well, not all year because the year just started, but still I want to talk about it. Invincible.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Invincible episode 7. We're one episode away from the season finale.
Oh, is this the big war or whatever coming up?
Yeah, the Invincible War. So
yeah,
they did it. And like I said, I've been talking about, I'm like, how are they going to do Invincible War? Are they going to like really do it how they're supposed to do it? Eli, for the most part, I was satisfied with it. I've been complaining about Invincible's animation budget. I was like, come on, you gotta do it. I do think they upped the animation budget for this episode.
So you didn't like Spider-Man?
I did not like Spider-Man. Even though you could visibly tell that had a better budget, I didn't agree with the art style. That's the thing.
Okay.
I did like the art style. But for this particular, not overall, just for this episode, I like, okay, Invincible, you have stepped up your animation budget on this one. I like it for this episode, because this, you got to come with it. Because we've been dreaming about what an Invincible War adaptation would look like, and they finally gave it to us. And I think for the most part, they stuck the landing for the most part. But at the same time, I do feel disappointed in some things also, that I can't help but being disappointed on it. Because Invincible War was Invincible War. Remember how Civil War was in the comics, where like hundreds of superheroes fight hundreds of superheroes?
Oh yeah, that panel,
the big MCU was like 6 versus 6 or some shit.
Yeah.
like a NBA pickup basketball game or some shit.
Yeah, 3-on-3 half court. Yeah.
Right. So Invincible War, like I said, it was a war where everybody showed up. When I mean everybody showed up. And then because of license issues in the show, they couldn't do that. But I'm going to run out a list of people they omitted from the comic Invincible War that weren't in the adaptation Invincible War. Okay. So let's run down the list of that. So first person was supposed to be there, wasn't there. Who is this? Oh, Ripclaw. No,
is that Ripclaw?
Cyberforce.
Yeah, that's Ripclaw.
Yeah, from Cyberforce. So Cyberforce was there in the comic, wasn't there in the cartoon, in the animation system. Who else we got? Spawn.
Spawn's
supposed to have been there. Youngblood.
Oh wow! Man, they're going to
Chapel in them. Yeah,
deep into the Image verse.
All the guy with it. Who else got? Pitt. Remember Pitt?
No shit.
Yeah, Pitt was there. Okay, he killed one of the Invincibles by himself. So that's show you him.
I got a Pitt figure somewhere. It's dope. It was a build a figure. Okay. I had to buy a bunch of fucking like figures to build a Pitt figure. It's one of my prized possessions.
Witchblade.
Yeah. Sarah Frizzelli, is that her name?
She was there. The
Darkness.
Yeah.
Jackie.
Yeah,
what was his name? Jackie Castellano. No, what the fuck?
Yeah, he was there fighting some of
Caligula or something.
Yeah, some shit like it. Okay, Shadow
Man.
No. That's Valiant. That's Valiant. Shadow Hawk
and Madman
and Madman. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing about Savage Dragon, he was in like a lot of Invincible comics back then. But like I said, everybody I just named was not in it. They were not there. So it was, wish they were there. They weren't there. What do we got here? Oh, now Wildcats weren't there. Now, the reason Wildcats weren't there, because by that time when that Invincible War comic came out, they were sold to DC. So for people don't wondering what happened to Wildcats, they remember in the 90s, DC owns them now. So they could make a Wildcats movie right now if they want to. I've been texting Jim Lee and James Gunn. I'm waiting for them to respond back to me. They haven't yet.
Yeah, wasn't there a Grifter book like a few years back?
Oh, everybody had a book. Yeah, Zelda had a book. Yeah, they all had a book. Yeah, he was in one of the Batman comics. He was like Lucius Fox, like bodyguard or some shit.
Yeah. I remember like recently. Yeah,
it was like recent when it happened. Yeah, Zilla was in one of those Absolute Power books. She just showed up just randomly. There's no reason. Yeah. Now all of that happened in Invincible War, and then when the war ended, then they finally gave exactly what I thought was going to be the season finale of this season, Conquest.
Okay.
Is there. Yeah. And now it goes a little bit deeper.
That's a deep cut.
That's deep. But I'm going to go even deeper. Okay. Because guess who voices Conquest? That dude.
Oh, Negan?
Negan. But I'm going to go deeper.
Is Negan there too?
No. Negan's not there. Negan's not there, but Conquest is voiced by the dude that plays Negan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Yeah. But go even deeper than that. The voice of Invincible is that dude from Walking Dead also. Glenn. The one that got killed by him.
Yeah.
So now you have them fighting each other. And the same guy that made Invincible is the same guy that made Walking Dead.
This is you going mad. I'm going nerd.
Mad.
You a motherfucker. You're a nerd.
And we go deeper. Okay. We're going deeper.
How deep can you actually go?
Right. I'm sorry. We got no more nerd dick. We're done. We're all deeper. Okay.
Where else can you do it? Escada, that's his name. Thank you, Game. Jackie Escado. Darkness, his last name.
Well, that was it. Damn. Okay. Yeah. Game, we didn't know that. I didn't know that. I just know the darkness. I didn't. Okay. Let's see. Bullseye. Oh, we already clicked up. Okay. So yeah. So that was Invincible War. Like I said, for the most part, I was satisfied. I understood they couldn't do the licensing thing, but it would have been cool to have Spawn show up. Killing Invincible too. But what can you do?
Well, yeah, McFarlane fucking up again.
Like we already pissed off McFarlane. We're gonna talk about McFarlane. That's a whole another podcast. We're not gonna go there.
Spawn movie coming out with what's that? Liefeld's impression of him.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. He's one of my favorite.
Yeah, the darkness was due. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I came so
Daredevil,
I came so close to getting a darkness tattoo back in the 90s.
Who, you?
Yeah, but I didn't.
Where's all this darkness love coming from, man? I remember an N64 game, and that was it. That's all.
Okay. Andrew Lau. Now I'm gonna go deep. He was a Hong Kong director, and he started incorporating CGI into the late 90s Hong Kong shit, where it was like he was literally like making Street Fighter and like Mortal Kombat where they were throwing powers and shit. Mm-hmm. And freezing people with punches and shit. He made Storm Riders and A Man Called Hero using CGI. He was rumored to make a Darkness movie back in before The Matrix came out. Okay. And a bunch of us Hong Kong nerds were really super excited about that.
Honestly, Eli, that sounded like it would have been a game changer.
Yeah.
We'd all be Darkness fans. At this
point. He didn't do that. He's the one who did Infernal Affairs, I believe. That's the movie that Scorsese
did, yeah.
Remade into the Departed. So The Departed is a remake of Infernal Affairs. So, but then The Matrix came out and they incorporated CGI, and then a new wave of action was born.
Man, we were almost at greatness. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You said that.
My wife and then. Yeah, it was because it was so, and honestly, it was even more image characters than that. But honestly, the other people that showed up, I kind of don't give a shit about them, so I didn't even post them. I just named the ones that I know of, So,
oh yeah,
Yeah. So that's all I got.
The Max didn't show.
Was the Max Image? Was it?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, nah, he didn't show up. But that's a deep cut. Okay. All right. So can we go past that?
Yeah.
Okay, hold up. Gabe's coming in hot. Let's see what he got. Let's see. Yes, I remember. Yeah, the Darkness had a PlayStation game.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Siri, you started Witchblade, and Witchblade had a TV show because the Darkness is a Witchblade spinoff.
Oh yeah, that TV show sucked. Yeah,
it sucked super ass. Yes, it did.
Like
kinda,
Mutant,
kinda
was it
kind of killed that
Mutant
franchise?
X?
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, it kind of killed that franchise. So now we're gonna talk about the video game section. I've been trying to talk about this for a while, but I was trying to wait for a show we didn't have a lot to talk about. I guess it was the wrong show to do that, but we're gonna talk about it anyway.
So it's funny that we had like 1,000 topics last week, and we it was like under an hour and a half.
Right, and I could have just addressed it then, but I didn't address it. All right, so what I want to talk about is Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 on PC. I've been trying to do like a review or my thoughts on it. I haven't beaten it yet. I've just been playing it and giving my thoughts on it. Playing how much I throw some Vidja game, ness on there. Can you see that? Is that good? Good
enough. Yeah,
we're fine. Okay. All right. So, like I said, I've been throwing it on there, and oh, that's cool. I like that. All right. So I've been playing it. I'm playing on PC. And I'm loving the game, but Eli, I do have to address something that this game, my favorite thing on the game is my least favorite thing on the game at the same time.
Okay.
Because my favorite thing and least favorite thing is this part that I'm about to do right now, playing as Miles Morales. Because you can play as both of them on there. This is both my love and most hated thing on here. The Superman shit.
Oh.
Yeah. Because it's not Spider-Man. I mean, I know you can glide like that, but you can like fly all around the city and shit like that. And another reason it's pissing me off because it's another reason why we can't have another Superman game. We should be having a Superman game. I should not be playing Superman as Spider-Man.
Yeah, when was that Superman? Was that Xbox? The first Xbox?
Oh no,
or is it 64?
It was in 64. Here's the thing about that game. Okay, so my parents, because I made good grades in school, they gave me one game that I can get that year. I wanted to get the Nintendo 64 game. That was the game I got. Only game I could get that year. I was forced to play it.
Did you want it though?
I wanted the game because it was Superman, but the game fucking sucked.
Okay,
It was in my head, and I had nothing to do, so I had to play it. So, let's see. Lag. Yes, okay, lag. I'm gonna talk about that also. Because like I said, okay, so I'm playing it on a Nintendo's. I'm sorry, not PS4. PC. I'm playing on PC, and I'm playing on an RTX 3060. So the thing is, this game is a little bit too demanding for my card. So there are going to be some parts in there where it lags, where it glitches, where it ghosts, all the things and you don't expect to see in a game. You get all the stuff like that. It happens in this game. But guess what, Eli? I don't care. Even with all this shit going on, I'm still having the time of my life playing it.
Is that Agent Venom? Who is that?
It's Harry as Venom.
Oh,
the part I'm in right now. Yeah. So Harry is Venom in this game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no Eddie Brock in it. It's I'm still
yeah. What's his face? What's his name?
Tombstone.
No, the bully.
Oh, who became Flash Thompson.
Flash.
Yeah, they mentioned Flash. He's not in the game, but yeah, that's so like that. So the thing is, I'm enjoying myself, having fun with the game. I know I can turn the settings down and make the game more presentable, but I don't care. I'm just cranking the shit up and just letting it go, and I'm having fun. I don't care. So that's my review of Spider-Man. So,
nobody knows who you are.
What is that? That electric company?
Electric company. Damn.
Wow.
We're deep.
Okay.
We're
going deep. That's too deep. That's too deep. Morgan Freeman deep. Okay.
Yeah. We went so deep. We're back on top.
Right. Full circle. Okay.
If you got that reference, you're a fucking nerd.
Yeah. No, if you got that reference, your knees hurt in the morning when you wake up.
Yeah, mine do. Mine do. My neck and my back.
Oh man. All right. Give me just a second. Can we move on to the next part of the podcast?
Sure.
Okay. I know we had a lot of show, but we're gonna just power through this anyway. So, like I said, it's comic bullies. We're gonna talk about comic books. We're gonna jump into it, and we have a lot of books we're gonna talk about. Eli, I'm gonna let you go first.
I don't have a lot of books.
I don't either, but that's why it should be in and out.
All right, I guess I'll do the Star Wars book.
Star Wars book, Jedi
Star,
Knights.
Star Wars Jedi Knights #1.
Is that Qui-Gon on the cover?
It is. It's this. So this cover. It's a wraparound cover. It's a pretty cool cover, man.
Interesting.
So this is a new series, where we are doing pre-prequel era Jedi. Ella. Yeah. So yes, Qui-Gon's there. We have little Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan looks like he's like fucking 15 years old.
Oh, so Padawan Obi-Wan? Okay.
Yeah, Padawan Obi-Wan. We have, Mace Windu, Qui-Gon. What's that dude's name? There's a new Qui-Gon's chilling with this one dude. He's like another brash, arrogant Jedi, kind of like an Anakin. Qui-Gon Jinn Maverick. Barum Kana, overconfident, recently knighted. So he just got recently knighted as a Jedi Knight, and he's kind of arrogant and shit. So anyways, this series is just going to be like I guess like Clone Wars, but for Jedi, before the Sith return, before Phantom Menace, Okay. So it's a whole new series, and this first issue just has the Jedi kind of trying to get a ceasefire between these two warring planets. And they're trying to, meet with the leaders and negotiate a ceasefire, trying to get like peace accords, get them going. Of course, the two planets aren't having it. They're not agreeing to anything. They, you don't understand the culture and the history. They're talking all this shit. So again, very timely. The fact that it's tying into current events, I'm sure is very coincidental. Escapism, So anyways, the two planets are not agreeing to a ceasefire. So the Jedi basically, they have all the masters meet, Mace Windu, Yoda, Qui-Gon, Shakti, all the whole crew's there. They all have a meeting like, okay, well, we can't negotiate a peace, so we're gonna have to make them make a peace. So they all split off, and they basically take out their armories, their weapons facility, their vehicles. They basically destroy all their weapons. So they can, like, okay, if you guys are gonna not kill each other, we're gonna make you not kill each other. We're taking away your ability to wage war against each other. And that's what they do. And then after that's all done, they go and blow up weapons manufactories. All the Jedi just go and, destroy all this weaponry and shit and, armories. And then at the end, it shows the two leaders finally meeting face to face and, having to talk to each other. They can't shoot at each other anymore. Meanwhile, in the meantime, while they were doing that shit, there was some secret assassin ninja that was trying to kill Qui-Gon. And they're trying to figure out who that was. And I think that's where this is. So this will launch this series. The mystery of Qui-Gon's would-be assassin. He's obviously not a Sith, because this ain't the Acolyte. And the Sith, they don't know about the Sith until Darth Maul.
Right. So, although I heard some theories that if Qui-Gon were to live, he could have been turned.
Oh yeah, I mean he was what's his face? Dooku was his homie and shit. Yeah.
Right. So
that show tells yeah, Tales of the Jedi. That there's some like Dooku episodes. That's pretty cool. But no, I actually, this was surprisingly cool. I like, it was a light week. I haven't been keeping up with Star Wars comics. This is like the first one I've read in a while, and I like it was pretty cool. The art was cool. It's Jedi. There's a lot of story that could be told right there. Prequel Jedi doing shit. Like the Clone Wars. Like I said, the Clone Wars. There was a lot of rich Star Wars storytelling on that Clone Wars show. So some of the coolest Star Wars stories ever out of the Clone Wars and Rebels. So I dug on this. The art was cool, and seeing all your favorite characters come back, and the fact that I'm not a big fan of the prequels. It's funny how the politics of the prequels are kind of still relevant now.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, I listened to director's commentary. What George Lucas was doing with those politics, he was like, "This is what like dictators do."
Yeah,
Like they follow the blueprint. They've all followed the same blueprint. That's why it's so relevant. Like all throughout history. So yeah.
But even in this comic, where like it's like the Jedi are like the United Nations, and they're trying to get these two countries to stop warring with each other. And they just can't get them to put down their arms. They've been fighting for centuries. What does that remind? I'm not going to say, but
we're not going to say. We're not going to say, but we know where you're going with it. So
yeah. So it's just funny. Like it like when written well, Star Wars can dip into social and political commentary pretty well. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what I dug about this. Yeah, it's Jedis and lightsabers, but it's it's talking about some real world shit. So yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. This was surprisingly cool. Didn't think I'd dig it as much as I did. So.
Cool. All right, next book I'm going to do, which is actually kind of relevant to what we've been talking about today. Ultimates 10. Okay, still in alternate universe. The Maker is coming and all the stuff like that. It's getting close to that one, but it's interesting direction this story takes. Like every episode, every issue we've had a new hero pop up, and one does but doesn't. So we're gonna talk about it. Let's see. This is an interesting story. Let's get to it. All right. So the book starts off with oh, I like that cover right there too. Okay. All right. So the book starts off. It starts off with Hitler being burned alive. So that's how the book starts off. And,
right on.
Yeah, and then you get somebody a caption saying,
"Who's doing it? Squirrel Girl."
That'd be cool if it would. But you get a caption saying, "I thought Hitler killed himself," and then we hear the person who did it, the Human Torch. So not Johnny Storm. Human Torch was originally in Marvel canon.
Oh, it's the not Johnny Storm.
The not Johnny Storm. So yeah, that guy. He's saying he killed Hitler. He was saying, no, I know Hitler didn't kill himself. I killed Hitler. They covered it up because the United States didn't want everybody to know that they sent more superhumans over there to fight World War II besides Captain America, because it was started like a huge armor. So they covered it up, And then while they going back and forth and talking about something, how did it feel to kill Hitler? He was like, well, normally I kind of get rid of all my memories and stuff like that to clear space on my hard drive. But that memory, I made sure to update and put it in 4K resolution so I can smile every time I see it. And Captain America like, okay, y'all cut the chatter. Enough talking about the good old days when we killed Nazis. Now let's talk about the good days when we killed Nazis in this time. And they're looking at this city with a bunch of Punisher skulls on it. Yeah.
Is that the new skull, or I can't tell?
Okay, it's kind of hard to tell, but yes. So this is the Red Skull Army. But
so it is the old school Punisher skull then?
Old school Punisher skull. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what they're going. So what happened, like they showed in one of those other Ultimate books, what happened was a cop in the 70s, a New York cop in the 70s went crazy named Frank Castle. He turned to a crazed vigilante.
He was a cop.
He was a cop. I mean, he was a cop. That's his thing. He went crazy in the 70s. And he went so crazy, they called it the Summer of Frank. But what he did, he inspired he inspired a movement of these assholes to be neo-Nazis, and now they carry on his legacy.
I get that they're referencing Summer of Sam.
Yes.
But Frank, just so for people who don't know, hot dogs are called Franks or Frankfurters in New York.
That's why I laugh now. So yeah, it does sound like you went on a killing spree, but yeah. Yeah. So not only were they inspired by Frank Castle, they were also inspired by the OG Red Skull Johann Schmidt, who was leader of these assholes back in the Nazis. So they basically carrying on the movement, and they're using Frank Castle to carry on the neo-Nazi movement also. So Captain America's like, okay, so we're gonna stop this neo-Nazi movement right now. Let's go in here and find the Grand Skull, like the Grand Wizard. It all ties together. Yeah. So they look
like
for
his dad, not his dad's dad.
Not his dad, right? Right. So they go in.
I'm just like not getting any of these. I'm just not understanding any of this, am I?
Right. So while all this going on, so Tony Stark was in a fight with a Hulk. Well, with the Hulk.
Oh, so he's all mended.
Well, getting mended. They're rebuilding his spine right now while the mission is going on. So he's getting surgery right now, and he's kind of directing the mission about what's going on, trying to see what's going on. Meanwhile, the Ultimate Stand. Oh, I didn't do a roll call. Okay, so you got Captain America, Hawkeye, Human Torch.
Oh,
yeah, Hawkeye's here. He's on the mission. Yeah, and Ant-Man and Wasp. So Captain America has a rule for these guys.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's Hawkeye, but he doesn't kill them. They don't kill these guys because they're not real soldiers. They're just a bunch of racist assholes. They just got to kick off the streets. So yeah.
What's up with those arrows? Those aren't killing arrows?
Sleep knockout arrows.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Captain America gave him a rule. These guys don't kill them, so they just knock them all out. Because they're not real threats. So they just do what they need to do, get past stuff like that. Captain America knocks them out. Boom. Wasp flies in one of their eardrums. It takes them out. So yeah. Oh, and Hawkeye's more sleeping arrows, knocking arrows, shit like that. Arrows like that. They get into the interior. I mean, you can see Tony Stark's spine open because they're literally working on his spine right now to put him back together because of what Hulk did to him. So yeah. So they get inside the base. They finally get into the main base to take out the Grand Skull. And when they get into the center of it, they just take the guys out. Meanwhile, Human Torch have flashback of the invaders and stuff like that. And they get in the inside, and what do they see? Namor hung up on the wall like a fish. Just there. And all you hear is like, hey, it's an invaders reunion. And we know to do with invaders. And it is this version of the Red Skull. So apparently they've had 5 Red Skulls in succession to take over this place. And this is just the latest one in the succession.
So Namor's like stuffed on the
Yes. On the Red Skull's wall with
That's
other
hilarious.
fish. Yes. And Human Torch like, what the hell did you do to Namor? He was like, that was our buddy. He was like, did you kill him? And Red Skull like, no, I didn't even kill him. Like his own people killed him. Like there was a insurrection and they took over his kingdom. So like a tumor took over Atlantis, killed Namor, killed his wife, killed everybody, like killed all his kids and shit like that, wiped his whole lineage away from Atlantis. But the thing is, apparently the way his body doesn't decompose. So wherever they put his body, it was like a religion that followed them, like a religion started wherever he was. He became a religious figure. So he's actually more trouble dead than he was alive. So Atum was like, get him the fuck out of here. Namor is too much of a problem here just because his existence is here. Because
wait, was that the dude who wore like the shark skull on his head?
You talking about in the movie? Forever?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
In the comics, he's an asshole. He's like Namor's like main villain. So
okay.
But in Wakanda Forever, he was just like one of his lackeys or henchmen and shit like that. But yeah.
Who is writing? This ain't Hickman.
No, this Dennis Camp, I think.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna do one of those Absolute books too, but I can't remember which one.
Absolute, like DC?
DC, yeah.
Okay.
But I can't remember which one. So yeah. So basically he's telling the whole story. So Atuma gave me Namor to stick on my wall, and we use it as a Nazi recruitment tool because he's worth more to us than he was to Atlantis. So yeah. So and then Captain America's like, man, fuck this. Clear this whole room out so that no kid rule here on the outside, they're done with that. They waste these guys. They just take them the fuck out. So the ultimate, like Human Torch is burning people alive and shit like that. Ant-Man jumps out of a dude's mouth. Yeah. So while all that shit is going on, Red Skull just take the fuck off. He like, man, I'm out of here. So he was like, y'all keep doing this. I'm running after the Red Skull and taking him out now because they don't know who he is. Because he's got some kind of model in his voice, so even Human Torch can't analyze what his voice sounds like. And Red Skull's best telling like, why are y'all chasing me? I hate the Maker too. Like, we're on the same side. I want to take him out too. He was like, nah, y'all's a bunch of racist thugs, man. We're nothing alike. He's like, yeah, we are nothing alike. Y'all, we're more organized. we have better recruitment skills, we have more money than you, and people really see us as a tool. Like, y'all just a bunch of assholes running around. Meanwhile, we got a guy just like you, Captain America, on our side. And in walks John Walker.
John Walker.
John Walker. Yes.
Is he the Punisher?
Yeah.
He,
yes, kind of.
That's like Captain. No, not what's his name. U.S. Agent or whatever.
U.S. Agent. Yes. Yes. So what happened when Tony Stark was giving around those vials like that to all the superheroes and shit, like, you should be this in this world, you should be this in this world. He gave it to John Walker because he was a hero in this world. And John Walker took it to the Red Skull, was like, what should I do with it? And the Red Skull says, you should kick the shit out of Captain America when he comes back. You're like, cool. So he just takes 2 knives out, runs at him, and before he even gets to him, Human Torch melts his face off. Dead. Out there. And so, oh shit. So he's out of there. And Red Skull's like, oh, what the fuck? And so while all this shit is going on, he gets blasted in the face, knocked out. And Tony Stark's basically telling him that I know who you are. I wiped all your finances. Your organization is done. You're like, oh shit. Well, I guess it's done, but it doesn't matter. You killed me. Another Red Skull's gonna pop up anyway. But it was good seeing you, Cap. No, it was good seeing you, Steve. And then he just dies. And he's like, oh shit. And yeah, that's it. So, and they bury Namor back at sea. So they're like, he's back with his people. So Human Torch is looking at Steve while he's depressed and shit like that. They're like, what's wrong with Steve? He was depressed ever since we beat the Red Skull. But then all that time, he finally analyzed Red Skull's voice. And it's a 99% match that it was James Buchanan Barnes. And and that's when Cap goes, Bucky? To be continued.
Damn. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, so Bucky was the Red Skull.
Damn.
But he was an old guy. That's to say, that's what I can tell. He was like in his 70s when it was. So, yeah. So, pretty cool story. Not agenda driven or virtue signaling like his other big. No, this was very much also was. They fought neo-Nazis. So, yeah, what am I talking about? Either way, I like this issue. It's still fun, relevant to what we're talking about, relevant today. So, yeah. 4 to 5. It still felt fillerish because it had nothing to do with the maker, but I get what he was going with it. So,
okay.
I liked it better than a Luke Cage book. So, yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, my next book is Mothra.
Okay.
Queen of the Monsters, #1.
Queen of the Galaxy.
So, Mothra is part of Godzilla's rogue galleries.
Is she?
She's more of an ally. She's not. I mean, they have fought. She's more of like.
I'm trying to think of the word also. Like, what is
she's
the word?
Like the mod. She's like she chastised them. Yes, they. It depends. Sometimes if Godzilla's a villainess, they will fight because sometimes Godzilla's a bad guy. You never know. But then sometimes they team up when Ghidorah shows up or Gigan shows up. Whenever there's an alien monster, they team up. And she's kind of like the older sister that kind of chastises Godzilla, I guess. So this is Mothra, Queen of the Monsters. And goddamn, this is really good. I really dug on this artwork. This artwork was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Who is it? Okay. Matt Frank and Sophie Campbell did pages 9 and 17. I couldn't tell. So this, I really dug. Oh, she wrote, and Sophie Campbell wrote the story. So, but no, this is about Mothra. She fights this another monster called Antra, and she gets killed. Which is not it's not uncommon for Mothra to die because she is like a moth and she eventually dies, but she always lays an egg. It's all so she basically gets reborn. Problem is she never got to lay that egg. So this Antra, this monster, kills Mothra before she lays her egg and then just decimated the city. This girl, I forget her name, her whole family, Emmy, is that her name? Her whole family dies in the whole chaos, in the destruction of the city, And then she grows up, like 15 years later, she grows up in the city's ruins. And the whole time, that Antra, like, kind of like spawned all these like little, well, they're not little, they're about human size because it's a kaiju beast. But all these like little, well, they're not little, ant beasts are running around like aliens, you know, like xenomorphs. So the city's infected with like these ant monsters, you know, and she grew up, you know, fighting these monsters, you know. Then one day, you know, her twin sister shows back up. Like, she's fighting monsters, and her twin sister shows up, and she's like, hey, Emmy, it's me. Or Mira. Her name is Mira. You know, and she's like, what the hell? I thought you were dead. He's like, well, you never knew what happened. You know, that day when our parents died and Mothra died and the buildings fell on us and blah, blah, blah. Well, these two little fairy twins saved me.
Which they were in the movie. One of those movies, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Mothra priestesses, they're in the movie. They're the little tiny fairies. They sing a song and they bring about Mothra, you know. And anyways, so they saved her and they took her to like another dimension. And they basically explained that, you know, Mothra. Yeah. What's up? She explains that, yeah, so Mothra, before Mothra dies, she usually lays an egg, but she did it this time. So what we need to do, we needed to go back in time to get a Mothra egg. And that's what they do. They take the twins, because this girl has a twin sister. So these humans are twin sisters, and then the fairies are twins. So then they sing a song and open up some sort of portal, and they go back in time to find a Mothra egg, you know. And so they're looking. It's like it looks like what's that? The Hidden Earth or whatever in the new movies and shit.
Yeah, I can't
remember. The MonsterVerse, the inside the Earth. It kind of looks like that. That's where they go. So some like Monster Island in the old Godzilla. Okay, we're gonna go look for this. We're gonna go look this prehistoric era. We're gonna go find a Mothra egg. Meanwhile, those Mothra priestesses, they meet up with these other twin, the Hollow Earth. Yeah. You see, we just get Gabe on the show. So, anyways, the Mothra priestesses, they're singing the song to about the portal, but then these other fairies show up, and they're the Antra, the handmaids of Antra. So that monster that killed Mothra in the beginning, they have fairies, and they're like, hey, so did you get those girls back here? And they're like, yeah, good. Everything is going as planned. Like, okay. So the Mothra fairies are in league with these Antra fairies. I don't know what that's about, but that's where it ends. And I got to say, this was really cool. And I've always had a soft spot for Mothra. Mothra is like the opposite of Godzilla. Godzilla is all about destruction, and Mothra is all about life and rebirth and shit. Yeah, she dies, but she always lays an egg, and it always becomes reborn. She's basically the protector of Earth. So yeah, I've always liked Mothra, and her toys are very hard to come by, and they're always expensive as fuck.
Did you ever get your hands on one?
No, unless I buy like the American one, the ones from the new movies and shit, like the American movies. But no, I want like an old school Japanese one, but they're like expensive.
He wants me to pick up Mothra. Okay.
So yeah, this was a lot of fun. I like the artwork, and I'm just so I guess IDW is doing this new Godzilla line, this new run of Godzilla comics, Godzilla in America.
Okay.
I guess it's Godzilla versus Chicago or something.
I guess there's been Godzilla manga before, right? I mean, that just
like
sense. Okay.
And I got like Tim Seeley's supposed to be writing a couple of the books and stuff. So there's like this new, line of Godzilla comics that IDW has been doing, are starting to do, and this is part of that. So I gotta say, this was really cool. I might check out some of these other ones that they're doing. So yeah, 4 out of 5.
Nice. Okay. Last book I'm doing. And I say this one for a reason because this book has been getting some traction. Actually, this whole series has been getting some traction. So I'm kind of keeping up with just to keep up to date what's going on with it. We're doing Storm number 5.
Storm, okay.
Yeah, we completely missed last week. I mean, the last issue of Storm, Eli. She became a god, fought like the universe or some shit, and this is following from that. So yeah, this is after Dr. Doom shit. So yeah. Oh, I'm trying to see where's that book go. So yeah, and so the reason this book is getting around because for those that have heard in this issue, she whoops the X-Men's ass by herself. So yeah. So we're gonna see exactly how that happened. Like, what the fuck did Storm do to do that? And I'm gonna explain how it did and didn't happen. So we're gonna go into context about that one. So point is, this is also a tie-in. They got some X-Men at crossover event going on right now called X-Men Hunt. Professor X on the run. I don't really care about it. I haven't keeping up with it. Don't really know what's going on. Don't really care what's going on. Let's get to the point of it. So point is, the book starts off with this other X-Man called Maggot. He's like staying on the sanctuary ship with Storm, just taking care of her kids and the animals and shit. But 4 hours earlier, she gets a visit from Professor X, and Professor X is saying they got a lot of people hunting me down right now because in the Fall of X thing, Professor X was supposedly have killed like some a NASA spaceship or some shit. He may or may not have done it. It may have been some mind games, shit like that. The point is, everybody thinks he did it. They stuck him in jail. He broke out of jail for reasons I'm not going to get into right now. Point is, he's on the run, and everybody's looking for him. And Storm is basically telling him, so why are you seeing me right now? Because eventually the people that are coming to look for you are going to come for me. And remember, I'm an Avenger. I got, sanctions and licenses in different states to go there and help what I needed to. If they find out I'm aiding and abetting a felon right now, it's going to get me in trouble. I could lose all this. And she's just like, well, the Storm I knew didn't need permission to go save somebody. She's like, well, the Charles I knew wasn't a convicted felon. So look, we both disappointing each other. And the point is, she gets to the point. So why I'm cooking you a meal right now, Charles? Because 95% of mutants that get apprehended when they escape prison get killed. So this is your last meal you enjoying right now. And Krakoa's gone. So if you die, that's it. You don't come back. So no more do-overs. And so he says, so what's the real reason you're here? And whatever the real reason we're here, we don't get it. I guess they're saving it for whatever events they got going on, but doesn't matter. Point is, she takes the sanctuary ship and they go to San Francisco, and while they're going there, they know that whoever's there in San Francisco, they know that the people are coming for Professor X right now. So she's getting ready. So apparently she got some Wakandan armor. If you're a black superhero and don't have Wakandan armor, you ain't shit. That's basically what it is right now. So she got Wakanda armor. She's like, whoever coming through there, don't worry, Charles, I'll protect you. Maggot is using his maggots to protect her too. And who is coming to get Charles Xavier? The X-Men. And this is like, Storm, hand them over. We not about to do this. Okay, so let's get a roll call going on. We got to do a roll call. Roll call is always fun. Temper, Sexy Psylocke, Juggernaut, Charles' brother, of course, Cyclops, Magic, and Quentin Quire. So let's roll. Okay. Stay here. You get him and basically Storm and Cyclops faced off each other. He like Storm. Cyclops, what are you doing? This dude basically raised you. You're gonna turn your back on him like that? And Cyclops is like, well, let me guess. He gave you another sob story. He put a little violin and start playing about something like that because that's his superpower. It's not his psychic ability. It's his greater good speech. He's always getting anybody he wants to do whatever he needs to. And she's like, I have no time for this. Look, you not getting it. He like, hand him over. You're like, I'm not handing him over. You can come over here and get him, but you limping back over. Anyway, let's go. So yeah, so it's an all-out fight. Storm, Professor X, and Maggot versus the X-Men. Now you got a whole bunch of telepaths going on. You got Psylocke, you got Professor X, you got Quentin Quire. Now here's the thing about the X-Men: psychic abilities don't work on them. Because the first thing you learn when you become an X-Men in the X-Men school is learn how to defend yourself against psychic attacks. So even Professor X psychic attacks don't work on them. They call it the red triangle defense. Not to be confused with the red triangle offense that was in Chicago Bulls 90s. But anyway, they fight against each other. They blast each other. And Storm is kind of hold up a little bit. She does some wind shit, throws Psylocke and Quentin Quire away from him, shit like that. But then Cyclops is like, okay, I'm about to end this fight. So now you got Cyclops, and Juggernaut get this guy down. So now you got Cyclops and Storm get this struggle beam Dragon Ball Z thing going on right now. But Cyclops like really pushing on, and he blasts so hard, his visor shatters on his eyes because he blasting his beam so hard. And even Storm can't defend to get that, and it takes over. So, but before it hits, that's when her body gets taken over by Eternity, and she becomes the Eternal Storm. So basically, Eternity, Storm's gone. She's out of the picture. She's here now. She is a god. She is the living universe right now. And basically, she like Superman freeze breath in Cyclops' direction. He can do nothing with it. And everybody's like, oh shit, Scott, what happened? They're like, I can't believe she just did that. And what did she do? She froze him. So Cyclops down. And then and Juggernaut is pissed off. So he rips off Maggot's arm. He's like, oh yeah, Storm, you done pissed me off. I was playing around now, but now it's the Juggernaut, bitch. So she runs at him, and she's like, nah, no, this fight's over with. So she just waves her hand, and every X-Man goes flying out of her ship. Just like that. Fight's over. And then she spits out a galactic bug just like that to make Maggot eat it so he can heal himself because Juggernaut just ripped off one of his arms. And she like, because you're about to become my hero, my eternal Maggot. So whatever. But apparently she didn't blow off all the X-Men out the room because Juggernaut is still standing. Like, no, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. You got to fight me. She's like, oh, you stronger than I thought you were. Okay. So while he's walking through, while he's doing all that wind blasting and shit like that, apparently she does a whole bunch of electric lightning daggers and stabs the shit out of him. So picks him up and like a crucifix, crucifies him and slams him to the ground and then carves an X in his face. Yeah, while knocking him out of his shit. Meanwhile, the X-Men are on the beach and like just realize they got the ass kicked, and Temper is healing Cyclops because she's got heat powers to get the freeze off of her. So like, damn, we just got an ass kick. But you know what? All this was a misdirection. We actually knew she was going to do this. Our real plan was to have Beast sneak in behind him undetected. And what Beast is doing is going to shut down the engine of the Sanctuary, which is called the Storm Engine, which is some huge alien power in her ship, which I never knew about. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with this. But before Beast can blow up the ship, that's when Professor X like, Beast. And the book ends. So I don't know what happened at that point. So I probably won't know what happened at this point because I'm not reading that shit. By the time we get to the next Storm book, this X-Hunt, Manhunt shit will be over with. So yeah. So did Storm kick the X-Men ass? Yes and no. She actually got an ass kick. The living god of eternity took over her body and kicked the X-Men's ass. That's different. Not the same thing. So, matter of fact, he even says when he took over Storm's body, and Cyclops, he was like, pray to your god, Cyclops. In fact, pray to me. He says shit like that. So technically, you're going to get a lot of information that Storm can kick the X-Men ass. That's not true. So I just want to put that out there. That's all. So, anything else we got?
Slap a score. What's your score?
I'm going to say 4 because Storm had Wakandan armor. She beat the fuck out of Juggernaut.
Well, it's about time she got some. Don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, no, she beat the shit out of Dr. Doom last issue. So, yeah. Let's see. Right. Slightly interested. Okay. Keep you updated on what? Mothra? That's what
maybe just giving us pointers, like naming shit we can't.
Yeah. He's good because we don't know shit. So yeah. So anything else you got, Eli? Or
no, just honorable mentions. I read the finale of the Batman Full Moon, or Batman versus the Werewolf. Finished up pretty cool. And then
okay.
It was only 4 issues. Pretty cool. Rodney Barnes, it was fun. And then the Herculoids. I read that. That was okay.
Didn't Jack Kirby make them?
I don't know who they were.
I heard Jack Kirby has something to do with them.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if he did.
Yeah,
I know he did.
His toe in the animation for like a hot second. I think that.
Yeah, it was Hanna-Barbera. They did it was the World of Super Adventure series because I used to watch that as a kid.
Yeah.
And they did the Fantastic Four cartoon back in the 70s or 60s.
They also did Super Friends.
Super Friends, and they had the
And Jack Kirby
Herculoids.
was writing Super Friends at the time.
Yeah. The Impossibles and what was that shit? What was it? Dino Boy or whatever the fuck. Anyways, it was a bunch of the Hanna-Barbera show was like a anthology of cartoons, and the Herculoids was part of that. There was a comic they released this week. It spent a lot of time on villains I never heard of, and not enough time on the actual family, the Herculoids family, until the end. So that's why I thought that was okay.
Okay. Oh, rest in peace
Those
to
are the only
the
books I
Space
read.
Ghost voice actor from that Space
I heard
Ghost
about
talk
that,
show
yeah.
on Adult Swim.
Yeah, the original voice of Space
I don't think he's the
Ghost.
original. I think he was just on Adult Swim.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Space Ghost
well,
Coast to Coast some shit.
Good journey to him, yeah.
Yeah, good journey to him. I completely forgot about it, but yeah, that's it. Well, shoot, I got nothing else. Anything else we got? I guess that's all we got. So
yeah, that's it.
Cool. Like I said, we gave y'all a whole lot of show, man. y'all should be upset about that. If you listen this long, if like, share, subscribe. We do come back next week with something else completely different. I don't know what we'll do. We'll find something to do. Something will happen in between then. Share this show out, y'all. Like I said, if you listen longer than 30 seconds, we appreciate you because you boost us up a little bit in that algorithm, and the algorithm is everything. Am I right, Doombot? Of course I'm right. So, yeah. Until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time, same bullet channel. Until then, die 1,000 deaths.